Imagine this. Two cops think they've snagged an easy target on a dark Georgia road until she turns the tables and burns their whole world down. That's where we're headed tonight, and trust me, you won't see it coming. This is Trial Tales, and we're diving into a case that's pure dynamite. It's about a black woman framed by two white officers who had no clue they just picked a fight with the wrong person. What starts as a routine stop spirals into a web of corruption, a rookie's rebellion, and a takedown that'll leave jaws on the floor. Buckle up. Eastwood, Georgia, is about to get messy. It's just past midnight on Route 17, a quiet stretch cutting through the small town of Eastwood. Most folks here are asleep, oblivious to what's about to unfold. A black SUV rolls steady down the road, its headlights slicing through the dark. Behind the wheel is Maya Jackson. She's got a low profile, dark hair tied back, plain jacket. Nothing flashy. But her eyes, they're sharp, like she's already 3 steps ahead of everyone else. She's been in Eastwood for weeks, working something under the radar, and tonight's her last lap before she's gone. The dashboard clock ticks to 12:03 a.m. She's calm, focused, hands loose on the wheel. Whatever she's been chasing, it's almost done. Her gaze flicks to the rearview mirror. Habit, not paranoia. Nothing but black road behind her. Then it hits. Red and blue lights explode in her mirrors, sharp and loud. A siren wails once, cutting the silence, then shuts off. She doesn't flinch, doesn't even blink, just eases the SUV over to the shoulder with a smoothness that says she's done this before. 2 cops step out of the squad car behind her. Derek Holt's the leader, tall, square-jawed, strutting like he owns the night. His partner, Ryan Caldwell, follows close, shorter, stockier, with a smirk that screams trouble. Their badges catch the light as they approach. Holt's at her window first, flashlight beaming in her face. Evening, ma'am. Know why we pulled you over? Maya meets his stare, unflinching. No, officer, I don't. Your taillight's out, he says, voice flat, like he's daring her to argue. Safety violation. My taillight's fine, she shoots back, calm but firm. I checked it this morning. Holt's jaw tightens. He doesn't like pushback. Step out of the vehicle. We're checking it anyway. She opens the door and steps out, movement slow and deliberate. Hands at her sides, no fuss. Caldwell's already circling to the trunk, eager, while Holt looms over her, arms crossed. Got anything in there you shouldn't? He asks, leaning in, testing her. Nothing you'll find that's mine, she says, voice steady as steel. Caldwell snorts from the back. We'll see about that. He pops the trunk, flashlight sweeping inside, hunting for a win. Then he stops. Well, look at this. He holds up a small plastic bag, unmarked, filled with white powder. What's this doing here? Holt's grin creeps up, slow and mean. That yours? Maya glances at the bag, then back at him. Not a flicker of fear. You know, it's not. Sure looks like it, Caldwell says, tossing it onto the hood with a smug flick. Possession's a nasty charge. Intent to distribute? Worse. Holt steps closer, voice dropping. Hands behind your back. You're under arrest. The cuffs snap on, cold and tight. She doesn't fight it, just stands there, letting them think they've got her. But as they tug her toward the squad car, her fingers brush her jacket hem. Quick, subtle. A tiny device hums awake, sending a signal into the night. They don't catch it. They're too busy smirking, too sure they're in charge. The squad car door slams, lights flashing as they pull away. What if the law you trust turned on you in the blink of an eye? That's where we're at now. 2 cops tightening their grip, thinking they've got the upper hand. But the woman they're framing? She's already rewriting the rules. We're back on Route 17 in Eastwood, Georgia, where Maya Jackson's night just took a sharp turn. 2 officers, Derek Holt and Ryan Caldwell, have her pulled over, and they're not playing nice. What started as a flimsy taillight excuse is about to get a whole lot uglier. The gravel crunches under Maya's boots as she steps out of the SUV. Holt's barking orders now, his voice clipped and hard. Move over here. Keep your hands where I can see 'em. She complies, slow and steady, her face a blank mask. No panic, no pleading, just those eyes. Sharp, unreadable, watching every move they make. Caldwell's at the trunk, popping it open with a quick yank, his flashlight cutting through the dark. Holt looms closer, his shadow falling over her. You sure there's nothing in there we should know about? Last chance to come clean. I told you, she says, voice low and even. Nothing in there's mine. Caldwell's rummaging gets louder, metal clanks, bags shift. Then he stops. Oh, jackpot. He pulls out a small plastic bag, holding it up like a trophy. White powder catches the light, stark against the night. Holt's head snaps toward him, a grin splitting his face. What do we got? Looks like the good stuff, Caldwell says, swinging the bag in his gloved hand. Right there in plain sight. Sloppy, ma'am. Real sloppy. Maya's gaze flicks to the bag, then back to Holt. Not a twitch. That's not mine, she says, calm as if she's ordering coffee. You know it. Holt laughs, a short, harsh sound. Yeah, tell that to the judge. Evidence says otherwise. Caldwell struts over, tossing the bag onto the hood with a thud. This ain't no parking ticket anymore. Possession with intent? You're looking at serious time. She doesn't budge, doesn't blink. You're making a mistake, she says, her tone carrying a quiet edge, like a warning they're too cocky to hear. Mistake? Holt steps in, towering over her. Only mistake here is yours, thinking you could roll through our town with this crap. Hands behind your back. No. The cuffs come out fast, snapping around her wrists with a cold bite. She doesn't resist, lets them manhandle her like she's just another name on their list. But inside, her mind's racing. Sharp, precise, cataloging every second. Holt's smirking now, full of himself. Easy night. Huh? Caldwell? Barely had to break a sweat, like taking candy from a baby. Caldwell shoots back, slamming the trunk shut. She didn't even see it coming. They're wrong. She saw it all. That bag? It wasn't there when she left her place. She'd bet her life on it. And she's not the type to miss details. This isn't a bust. It's a setup. And these two, they're playing a game they don't even understand. As Holt grabs her arm, steering her toward the squad car, her fingers brush the hem of her jacket. Quick, subtle, a tiny click, barely audible, hums from a device sewn into the lining. A tracker. It's live now, sending a silent pulse out into the ether. They don't notice. Too busy gloating. You're done, sweetheart, Holt says, shoving her toward the backseat. Should have stayed out of Eastwood. Caldwell leads in, his smirk wide. Hope you like orange jumpsuits. They're all the rage where you're going. The door slams shut, locking her in. Red and blue lights flare up, washing over the road as the squad car pulls out. Inside, Maya sits still, wrists bound, staring straight ahead. Her breathing steady, her face unreadable, like she's not even fazed. But those eyes, they're ice cold, locked on something far beyond these two clowns. She's not fighting back, not yet. This is her move, and they're just pieces on the board. Holt and Caldwell think they've won, but they've got no idea what's ticking away in that jacket. What happens when the system you swore to uphold starts to crack right in front of you? That's the line we're walking now. A rookie cop caught between loyalty and a nagging itch that something's dead wrong. We're inside the Eastwood police station, just a few miles from where Maya Jackson got hauled in. The clock's ticking past 1 a.m., and the place is humming with the low buzz of a night shift. Derek Holt and Ryan Caldwell think they've scored big, but someone else is about to throw a wrench in their night. Maya's in cuffs, standing at the processing desk. The fluorescent lights overhead wash everything in a harsh, pale glow. She's calm, too calm, hands steady as they press her fingers into the ink pad. No fidgeting, no tears, just that piercing stare, like she's sizing up the room. Across the counter is Ethan Brooks, a fresh-faced officer barely 6 months on the job. He's got tired eyes and a nervous energy, still green enough to care, but not dumb enough to rock the boat. He's the one running her prints, typing her info into the system. Name? He asks, voice soft, almost hesitant. Maya Jackson, she replies, smooth and even, like she's reading a grocery list. Occupation? A beat. Her lips twitch, just for a second. Consultant. Ethan's fingers pause over the keyboard. Consultant? It's vague, too vague. He glances up, meeting her eyes, and there's something there he can't place. Not fear, not defiance, confidence. Maybe. It throws him off. He finishes the form, sliding it aside, but his gut's churning. Most folks in cuffs are a mess, yelling, begging, sweating through their shirts. Not her. She's standing there like she's waiting for a bus, not a cell. Holt struts in from the hallway, tossing the evidence bag onto the counter with a loud smack. Caught her red-handed, he brags, loud enough for the whole station to hear. Powder right there in the trunk, open and shut. Caldwell's right behind him, grinning like a kid who aced a test. Dumb enough to leave it sitting out. Easiest bus we've had all month. Ethan's eyes flick to the bag. Plain plastic, no markings, stuffed with white powder. It's textbook. Too textbook. Perfectly placed, perfectly convenient. His stomach twists a little tighter. Move her along, Brooks. Holt snaps, already turning away. We're grabbing coffee. Big win tonight. The two of them head for the break room, their laughter bouncing off the walls. Ethan watches them go, then then looks back at Maya. She hasn't moved, just stands there, locked on him with that steady gaze. "You're awfully quiet," he says, half to himself, testing the water. "Should I be screaming?" she asks, voice low, a faint edge to it. He doesn't answer, just nods to the officer waiting to take her to holding. As she's led away, her footsteps echo down the hall, steady and short. Ethan's left there, staring at the bag on the counter, that itch in his gut growing into something he can't ignore. The break room's alive with noise now. Holt and Caldwell sprawled in chairs, mugs steaming in their hands. "She didn't even blink," Caldwell saying, chuckling. "Thought she'd at least try to talk her way out." Holt leans back, smug as ever. "They all crack eventually. Give her a night in the tank. She'll sing." Their voices fade as Ethan slips back to his desk. The station's quiet again, just the hum of the AC and the faint click of keys. He pulls up the arrest report. Standard stuff. Tail light out. Suspicious behavior. Contraband found. But it's too clean, too neat. He hesitates, then switches to the security feed. The screen flickers, pulling up grainy footage from the lot outside. There's the squad car rolling in, Holt and Caldwell dragging Maya out. He scrubs through the frames, frame by frame, watching their every move. Then he sees it, Holt's hand dipping into his pocket before the trunk search. A quick motion, subtle, but there. Caldwell's blocking the angle, casual-like, while Holt plants something. Ethan freezes the frame, heart pounding. That bag didn't come from her car. It came from him. His fingers tremble on the mouse, hovering over the screen. This isn't right. He's seen busts before. Messy ones, sloppy ones, but never one this polished. Never one that stinks like this. Back in the break room, Holt's voice cuts through the air again, bragging about their slam dunk. Ethan's alone at his desk, the footage staring back at him like a dare. He's just a rookie. Nobody here questions the vets. But that woman's calm, that bag, that footage, it's all screaming at him. He doesn't know her story yet, doesn't know what's coming. But right now, in this quiet corner of the station, his seed's been planted. And it's about to grow. What do you do when the badge you wear starts to feel like a lie? That's the tightrope Ethan Brooks is walking right now, a rookie staring down a truth he's not sure he's ready to face. It's pushing 2 a.m. at the Eastwood police station. The night shift's dragging on, and the air's thick with the stale smell of coffee and cheap disinfectant. Maya Jackson's locked in a holding cell down the hall, while Derek Holt and Ryan Caldwell are still riding high off their so-called victory. Ethan's back at his desk, but he's not working. Not really. His eyes are glued to that frozen security frame. Holt slipping something into Maya's trunk. Caldwell covering the angle like it's routine. It's burned into his brain now, replaying on a loop he can't shut off. He pushes back from the desk, chair scraping loud in the quiet. His boots hit the floor, heavy, unsteady, like he's carrying more than just his gear. The holding cells are a short walk. Bare walls, flickering lights, the kind of place that swallows sound. He stops outside hers. Maya's sitting on the metal bench, back straight, hands resting in her lap. She doesn't look up right away, but when she does, those eyes lock onto him. Sharp, steady, cutting right through the bars. "You're back," she says, voice low, almost curious. "Something on your mind?" He shifts his weight, fingers brushing his belt. "You're not like the others," he mutters, half to himself. "Most people in here, they're scared. Or mad. You're just sitting there. Maybe I've got nothing to be scared of," she replies, tilting her head just enough to make him wonder. He steps closer, voice dropping. "That bag they found, it didn't come from you, did it?" She doesn't answer, just watches him, letting the silence stretch. Then, soft but pointed, "What do you think justice is, Officer Brooks?" The question hits him like a punch. He blinks, mouth opening, but nothing comes out. "It's doing the job," he says finally, fumbling, following the rules. "Is it?" Her tone's calm, but it's got teeth. "Or is it just doing what you're told, even when it's wrong?" His chest tightens. He wants to argue, to defend the system he signed up for, but those words stick. He turns away, jaw clenched, and heads back down the hall. Her voice follows him like a shadow, quiet but heavy. Back at his desk, he's restless now, fingers tapping, leg bouncing. He can still hear Holt and Caldwell in the break room, their laughter grating on his nerves. She's toast. Holt saying, "Nobody's digging into this one." Ethan's stomach churns. He pulls up the system again, this time digging deeper. Case files, Holt and Caldwell's history. He's not supposed to be poking around like this, but he can't stop. The screen fills with names, dates, charges, traffic stops, minor violations. Then, boom, Drug busts. Over and over. Same pattern. Same playbook. He scrolls faster, breath catching as the dots connect. Most of the names? Black, young, poor, people who don't fight back. One file jumps out. 6 months ago, a guy named Marcus Tate. Pulled over for a broken blinker. Found with a bag just like Maya's. Pleaded not guilty, but the evidence stuck. 5 years. Ethan's hands ball into fists. Another, Lila Hayes, 3 months back. Rolling a stop sign. Same deal. Bag in the trunk. Airtight report. She's still inside. He keeps going. Case after case. A sick rhythm building. It's not random. It's a machine. He leans back, staring at the screen, feeling the walls of the station closing in. His pulse is hammering now, loud in his ears. These aren't mistakes. They're moves, calculated, rehearsed. And he's been part of it. Filing papers, looking the other way. Maya's words echo again. What do you think justice is? He signed up to protect people, not to prop up this. But calling it out, that's a line he's never crossed. Holt and Caldwell aren't just vets. They're untouchable. At least, they think they are. In the break room, Holt's voice cuts through again. Kid's too green, he's saying, laughing. He'll learn to keep his head down. Ethan's not laughing. He's staring at those files, at the names, the lives chewed up and spit out. His hands hover over the keyboard, trembling. He's got a choice to make, and it's tearing him apart. He doesn't know it yet, but that choice is about to blow this whole thing wide open. What's it like to light a match in a room full of gas? That's where we are now, tension spiking, gears turning, and one bold move about to flip the script. Buckle up, because things are speeding up fast. It's closing in on 3 a.m. at the Eastwood police station. The night's dragging, but the air's electric, crackling with something nobody's named yet. Ethan Brooks is at his desk, heart pounding like a drum, staring at a screen full of Holt and Caldwell's dirty secrets. Those case files, Marcus Tate, Lila Hayes, dozens more, keep flashing in his head. Faces he didn't know, lives he didn't save. Maya's voice is there too, cutting through the noise. What do you think justice is? He's done sitting still. His fingers hover over the keyboard, shaky but sure. He opens a secure email client, untraceable, or so he hopes. The cursor blinks, taunting him. He types fast, to whom it may concern. Something's rotten at Eastwood PD. Check these files, please. He attaches the evidence, screenshots of the cases, that damning security frame of Holt planting the bag. His breath catches as he hits send. The message vanishes into the void, and he slumps back, adrenaline surging. No turning back now. Miles away, a faint signal pings on a CIA ops board. It's coming from Maya's tracker, that little device humming in her jacket. The team's been waiting, watching, listening. A tech flags it, voice sharp. She's live. Eastwood Station. Looks like trouble. Nathan Reed's in the room, a man built like a brick wall with eyes cold as steel. He's the lead on Maya's unit, and he doesn't flinch. Location locked, he says, already moving. Get the van. We're rolling. Back at the station, Maya's still in her cell, sitting like a statue. The tracker's signal is her lifeline, and she knows it's only a matter of time. Her cuffs are off now, standard after processing, but her wrists still ache. She doesn't care. She's counting the minutes. Ethan's trying to play it cool, shutting down his screen as footsteps echo down the hall. It's Holt, strolling out of the break room, coffee in hand. He stops, eyes narrowing as he spots Ethan. You're up late, Brooks. Something keeping you busy? Just paperwork, Ethan mutters, keeping his voice flat. His palms are slick with sweat. Holt doesn't buy it. He steps closer, towering over the desk. You've been twitchy all night. What's eating you, kid? Nothing, Ethan says, too quick. He forces a shrug, but Holt's not letting it go. Better not be sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, Holt warns, voice low and hard. This job's simple. Do what you're told. Keep your mouth shut. Ethan nods, staring at his hands. Holt lingers a beat longer, then heads off, but his shadow feels like it's still there, watching. In the break room, Caldwell's sprawled out, feet up. Kid's acting weird, Holt says, dropping into a chair. Caught him messing with the computer. Overthinking his first big bust, Caldwell snorts. He'll get over it. Maybe, Holt mutters, but his eyes are sharp now, tracking back toward Ethan's desk. He's not so sure. Out on the edge of Eastwood, a black van cuts through the dark. Nathan Reed's in the passenger seat, staring ahead as the driver weaves past pine-lined roads. What's the play? The driver asks, voice tight. Get eyes on her first, Reed says, checking his watch. She's signaled. She's in deep. We need intel before we hit. The van's loaded, tech gear, weapons, a team ready to move. Reed's mind's already on Maya, piecing together her situation. She's good, damn good, but even she can't bust out of a cell alone. Back at the station, Ethan's pacing now, restless. That email's out there, and he's got no clue who'll catch it or if they'll care. His gut says he's just kicked a hornet's nest, but there's no proof yet. Just a feeling, heavy and raw. Maya shifts in her cell, leaning back against the wall. She can hear the faint hum of the station. Phones ringing. Boots clomping, Holt's voice barking somewhere down the hall. Her tracker's live, and her team's close. She feels it. Holt's back on the prowl, circling past Ethan's desk again. You sure you're good, Brooks? He calls, half taunting. Looking like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine, Ethan snaps, sharper than he meant. Holt's smirk fades, replaced by something colder. Keep it that way, Holt says, turning away. But he's watching now, really watching. Ethan's on his radar, and that's a dangerous place to be. Outside, the van's closing in. Headlights off, blending into the night. Reed's voice cuts through the silence. 5 minutes out. Be ready. The clock's ticking faster now. Ethan's moves in motion, Maya's signals live, and Holt's starting to smell trouble. This powder keg's about to blow, and nobody's ready for the fallout. The clock's ticking past 4 a.m. at the Eastwood police station, and the night's about to crack wide open. Ethan Brooks is still reeling from his reckless email. Holt's suspicion is simmering. And Maya Jackson's tracker has set something big in motion. A black van rolls silently into the station's lot, lights off, engine barely a whisper. Doors slide open, and out steps Nathan Reed. Broad shoulders, steely gaze, all business. His team follows, badges glinting under their jackets, moving like a unit that's done this 100 times. Inside, the station's coasting on autopilot, night shift officers half asleep at their desks. The hum of a coffee machine droning in the background. Ethan's hunched over his screen, nerves shot, when the front doors swing open hard. Reed strides in, his voice cutting through the haze like a blade. FBI, we need full access to your records and holding cells. Now, the desk sergeant, a grizzled guy named Perry, snaps upright, hand twitching toward his radio. What's this about? He grumbles, eyes narrowing. Federal investigation, Reed says, flat and final, sliding a warrant across the counter. Move it. Perry hesitates, glancing at the paper, then nods grudgingly. Down the hall, records room's on the left. Ethan's head jerks up, heart slamming against his ribs. FBI, here? His email's barely been out an hour. There's no way. He watches Reed and his team sweep past, their footsteps heavy, purposeful. In the break room, Holt and Caldwell are mid-laugh, coffee mugs in hand. The door bangs open, and an agent pokes his head in. Holt, Caldwell, front and center. Now, Holt's grin falters. What's this crap? He mutters, setting his mug down slow. Caldwell follows, uneasy, wiping his hands on his pants. They step into the bullpen just as Reed's team hauls in a cart. Laptops, hard drives, cables. Reed's already barking orders. Pull the security feeds. Every arrest tied to these two. Go. Holt saunters over, arms crossed, playing it cool. You boys lost? This ain't your turf? Reed doesn't blink. It is now. Sit down. We're having a chat. Caldwell shifts, voice tight. Chat about what? We're clean. Funny you'd say that, Reed says, nodding to an agent. A laptop screen flares to life, grainy footage rolling, the squad car pulling in, Holt and Caldwell dragging by out. Then the moment Ethan caught. Holt slipping the bag into the trunk, Caldwell shielding the angle. Holt's face drains white, that smug smirk gone in a flash. That's nothing, he stammers, voice cracking. Routine search. Reed leads in, eyes like ice. Routine? You planted it. Timestamps don't lie. Caldwell's shaking now, muttering under his breath. No way. No way this holds up. It's holding. Reed snaps, tossing a stack of printouts on the table. Screenshots, logs, all stamped with FBI seals. We've got enough to bury you both. The room's dead quiet now, every officer frozen, watching the train wreck unfold. Ethan's gripping his desk, barely breathing. He didn't expect this. Not this fast, not this hard. Down in her cell, Maya hasn't moved. She's still on that bench, hands in her lap, listening to the chaos filter through the walls. Raised voices, boots stomping, the faint hum of electronics. She knows the sound of her team closing in. Reed's not done. He pulls up another file, voice steady. This isn't your first rodeo. We're pulling every case you've touched. Patterns don't look good. Holt tries to rally, slamming a fist on the table. You've got no jurisdiction. This is bull. Save it. Reed cuts him off, sliding the warrant into view. You're done talking your way out. Caldwell's sinking in his chair, hands over his face. We followed procedure. We didn't. Reed ignores him, turning to an agent. Get the audio cued. Let's hear what they said. Maya's ears perk up in her cell. She knows what's coming. Her tracker didn't just ping a signal. It recorded. Every word Holt and Caldwell spat on that road is about to bite them back. The agent nods, plugging in a drive. Static crackles. Then Holt's voice fills the room. Easy night. Huh. She didn't even see it coming. Caldwell's laugh follows. Candy from a baby. Holt's jaw drops, eyes wide with panic. Caldwell's muttering again, louder this time. No way. That's not. They can't. They can, Reed says, voice like a hammer. And they will. Ethan's watching from his desk, pulse racing. The footage, the audio, it's airtight. He's not sure if he's relieved or terrified. But he knows one thing, the mosque's off. Maya shifts slightly in her cell, a faint smirk tugging at her lips. She's still silent, still waiting. Her team's here, and the walls are closing in on Holt and Caldwell. She's got the winning hand. They just don't know it yet. Dawn's breaking over Eastwood, Georgia, a faint pink streaking the sky. But inside the police station, it's still chaos. Phones ringing, voices overlapping. The aftermath of a night that flipped everything upside down. Derek Holt and Ryan Caldwell are gone, hauled off in cuffs. Their careers torched. The FBI's evidence stuck. Video, audio, a trail of rigged cases, and the judge didn't hesitate. Holt got 15 years, Caldwell 10, both pleading out to avoid worse. Their mugshots are already splashed across local news. Headlines screaming corruption. The station's a mess. Reed's team stayed behind, digging through records, pulling more threads. 3 other officers are under investigation now. Same pattern, same stench. Resignations are piling up. Higher-ups scrambling to save face. The chief's on TV, promising reform, but the damage is deep. Ethan Brooks is still here, leaning against his desk, staring at the empty bullpen. His tip sparked this, and words out. Some cops nod at him now, a quiet respect, but most won't meet his eyes. Whispers follow him. Traitor, snitch, rookie who broke the code. He feels the weight, but he's standing taller. He replays Maya's words. You did good. It's enough to keep him going, even when the cold shoulders sting. He's not the same kid who clocked in yesterday. Something shifted, permanent, like a crack in the foundation. Out in the world, Maya Jackson's already moving. She's in a nondescript motel room, packing a duffel, jacket, files, a burner phone. Her next mission's waiting, details locked in her head. She pauses, glancing out the window at the rising sun, then zips the bag shut. Another fight, another shadow to chase. She steps into the morning, disappearing into the grind like she was never here. But Eastwood won't forget her, or what she tore open. She's a ghost now, on to the next battle, leaving justice in her wake. Back at the station, Ethan grabs his coat, ready to clock out. A veteran cop brushes past, muttering, "Hope you're happy, Brooks." He doesn't bite back, just keeps walking, head high. He knows what he did mattered, even if they don't see it yet. This isn't just a bust. It's a ripple. Cases reopening, families getting answers, a system forced to look at itself. Holt and Caldwell thought they were untouchable, but the truth found a way out. It always does, and that's the heart of it. One voice, one choice, can break the silence. The truth doesn't hide forever. It shines through, no matter how deep you bury it. So stick with us at Trial Tales. There's more to uncover, more stories to tell. Join us. Let's keep digging.